Just want to let you guys know that just by being here tonight, that you are all supporting a really good cause. Comedians fighting homelessness. Yeah, I was talking about me specifically. You look confused. Dylan doesn't seem like he's doing too good either, though, so both of us, primarily. Also, please don't Google search comedians fighting homelessness. It's not like an official thing. You know what's going to happen if you Google comedians fighting homelessness? You're going to find videos of comedians fighting homeless people, probably. I just found out my grandmother has a boyfriend. Yeah, which I thought was really sweet until she told me it was an open relationship. I was like, is that really necessary, Graham? Like, are you just crushing so much ass at the nursing home? You gotta keep your options open? I'm pretty sure she just can't remember which guy she's banging. It's tough though, like, you know you're in a slump when your grandma's getting more ass than you are? I don't even know what to tell you guys. Women just have terrible taste in me. Do we have any Hispanic women here tonight by any chance? You are? That was the quietest Hispanic woman I've ever seen. You guys are difficult. I like Hispanic. Do you know you can actually tell how crazy a Hispanic woman is from the size of their hoop earrings? That's a very accurate gauge. Let me see. Let me see. You forgot your hoops? That's very misleading. I love Hispanic women though because they're the only women that we are allowed to call crazy, right? And not only are they not offended by it, they're proud of it. Like, that's right, we're crazy, we will kill you in your sleep. Like, our love language is stabbing. Anybody first timers here at Gregory's Comedy Club? How many of you got a... Wow, all right. Yes, this place is nice, right? This is probably the nicest escape room in Cocoa Beach. We lock the doors, that's what I'm getting at. Some of you look confused. If you don't know what an escape room is, this is where they lock you in a room, you have to try to get out. Yeah, it's like the opposite of an insurrection. Sorry if anyone was there. I think I would be better at escape rooms if there was something outside other than Florida. Like, why are you trying to get out of this air-conditioned game room so fast? This is a nice experience. I just found out they have Florida-themed escape rooms in other parts of the country. Yeah, they're called rehab facilities. And they're a lot harder to get out of. I wonder what it's going to be like 50 years from now. Some of you won't be here. I wonder what it's going to be like. There's just going to be this crop of old people that are really good at getting out of places. We're going to be a nightmare at nursing homes. We're going to be comparing silver alerts every day to see who got out first. Like, are you guys on a silver alert? Is that? I think that's my grandmother's dating app. I love living in Florida though. My favorite thing about living in Florida is women with tan lines. Yeah, this guy too. Let me tell you something. Every man in this room has a fetish for tan lines. She just checked with him. He does, we do. How long have you guys been together? Like 300 years. She just found out. It's number 3 on his search history. I don't even know why we like tan lines so much though, right? There's just something about it. Like when all the clothes come off, it looks like somebody went over all the best parts with a highlighter. Which is also great because we don't like asking for directions. Like, this is where you need to focus. This is pretty much your target area. You need to pay attention to it. I also like Florida because we have exciting elections. Our elections are nationally televised events. People from all over the country are like, what the hell's Florida gonna do this time? Our last governor election was Ron DeSantis versus Andrew Gillum. Remember this race? This was a very close race. Gillum ended up losing. And shortly after that, they found him passed out naked in a hotel room with a meth pipe and a gay male prostitute. Can you imagine the party he would have had if he had won? I wrote him in this year. I was like, let's see what happens. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be like Sunfest on gay meth. He lost it. All right, enough politics. Let's talk about something less controversial. Abortion. No. I'm overqualified to talk about it. One interesting story I read recently was the caravans coming up from South America. This is big news right now. Caravans of immigrants coming up from South America. It's a big deal at the Texas border. They're freaking out about it. It's become such a big deal that Dodge Motor Company has decided to change the name of their minivan. Yeah, the best seller, formerly known as the Dodge Caravan, is now going to be called the Dodge Border Security Crisis. And it's going to come with a wall standard between the front and back seats, which is really good for family vacations. You know, and if the children start to complain because they're hungry and thirsty, the deluxe model is going to come with an automated tear gas dispenser. Yeah, they're going to call it the I'll give you something to cry about edition. Child abuse check. You guys are good with that. That's nice. You ever go to the basketball games and see the guy with the t-shirt cannon? How come they never shoot anybody in the front row? If they let me do this, I would shoot Drake in the face. I would kill Jack Nicholson with a t-shirt. I don't like dogs with people names. Because there's no right way to tell a girl she has the same name as your dog. This happened to me one time. I actually went on a date one time with a girl who had the same name as my dog. Yeah, I didn't tell her on the date, not a total idiot. But we got back to my house, she was like, oh my God, what's your dog's name? I was like, you're not gonna like it. She didn't either. She was pissed. Oh my God. I get it though, I kinda understand why though. Because I had known her for like 6 months, and I had just got the dog. You know what though, in my defense, I think Barney is a weird name for a girl. Cats are different, they don't care what you call them. When I was a little kid, I got a cat for my birthday one year, and I named him OJ. Because I'm pretty sure he killed these 2 white cats that lived on the street. But no one could ever prove it. It's just a joke, man. I don't know if the cats were really white. I'll tell you something else I don't like. I don't like soap dispensers that shoot way too far. They make me feel inadequate. Thank you for the solidarity, gentlemen. Women love to complain about guys that finish too fast. You love telling stories, making jokes, guys who finish too fast. Let me just explain something to you ladies, all right? If you sleep with a guy for the first time and he doesn't finish too fast, he has a girlfriend. And if he doesn't finish at all, he has a wife. So penis enlargement is, I just found penis enlargement is actually the slowest growing industry in America right now. A friend of mine actually called me up to tell me that he was considering trying penis enlargement. And I told him that I thought that he had drastically misjudged the closeness of our friendship. Like, I have to tell all of Cocoa Beach now, like, you don't bring that up to your friend, that's crazy. There's some things you just can't talk to your friends about. Like, I'm not quite at the age where it's socially acceptable for me to need Viagra, which means if I did need some, I would have to borrow it from one of my older friends. You know, I see some guys here tonight who might be holding, maybe like, how do you ask your friend, like, asking your friend to borrow their Viagra is like asking your friend if you can borrow their ski mask. Like, I won't ask you why you have it if you don't ask me why I need it. I decided I'm gonna be the cool older guy though. Like the young guys, you can ask me, once I have it, once I get to that point, ask me to borrow my Viagra. You can ask me to borrow my ski mask. Just don't ask to borrow both of them at the same time. If you're doing something that involves Viagra and a ski mask, just you can keep the ski mask. I don't need it back. That's where I draw the line. Just found out that babies can swim. Yeah, just right out of the gate, which is not the right way to explain that. But they can. Babies are born with the ability to swim, which means you can take a newborn and throw it in a pool, and it would just pop up swimming. Which sounds like a really cool party trick. It is surprisingly difficult, though, to get someone to give you their baby when you don't know them very well. But I was at a pool party recently, and my cousin was there. So she came over, and she was like, "Hey, would you mind watching the baby for a minute?" I was like, what a coincidence. I was actually going to ask if I could borrow your baby anyway. So here's what I learned. The majority of babies can swim. But only like 1 out of 10 can unclip themselves from a stroller when they're underwater. Yeah, apparently my cousin's baby is some kind of a genius. I think she should have been happier to learn that under the circumstances. I've always wanted to have kids though, and I recently met a girl who also wants to have kids. But she told me that she didn't want to have to carry the children herself. I was like, that's cool and pretty strong, I'll carry those little bastards around. But that's not what she meant. What she meant was she didn't want to have to be pregnant. She would have a surrogate mother carry the baby for her. And I thought that was really messed up. But she was also a pretty solid 8.5. So I told her, I was like, listen, under normal circumstances, I would never have sex with a hot, young, illegal immigrant. But as long as you're paying her, I'm okay with it. She said, that's not how surrogate mothering works. I was like, whoa, I'm very sorry, I didn't realize that. I will pay her. I feel like Boy Scouts get kind of a raw deal, like when it comes to fundraising. Like, how do you compete with Girl Scout cookies? That's not fair. What do Boy Scouts even sell? No one knows. In this joke, no one knows. So I saw some of these poor kids in front of the grocery store the other day. So I went over and was like, all right, what do you guys got? All they had to sell were coupons for Girl Scout cookies. I actually want some of those. They're expensive. That's a good business model. I wasn't allowed to have Girl Scout cookies as a kid growing up until I was about 6 years old. My parents didn't let me or my brother have sugar. They would give us all these sugar substitute treats. Like instead of chocolate, they gave us carob. Most of you probably don't even know what this is. How do I explain carob? Imagine what chocolate would taste like if your parents didn't love you. Still like the taste of carob. You ever meet a guy and you are so sure that he is gay, but then you find out that he's really just from South Carolina? How did that happen? Did they invade at some point? Like leave behind their tendencies? And what happens when a gay guy meets a guy from South Carolina? Do they have to fight? like Highlander? There can be only one! Peach cobbler at this party. That's the fight, that's what it'd be over. I have gay friends, I love my gay friends. They're great. They're always trying to get me to go to the gym with them now. But I can't afford it because they all go to that fancy French gym. La Fitness. Oh, sorry, is it La Fit Day? Sorry, I don't speak French. Judgmental guy. I was reading about cryogenic freezing the other day. You guys know about this stuff? Ooh, cryogenic freezing. This is where we freeze rich people and save them for later. Yeah, it's a really good program. I think it's a good thing, because what if we run out of rich people at some point? We're going to have leftovers in the freezer. It's good. There are two choices at the cryogenic freezing center. There is full service, and there is head only. Okay, yeah. Okay. It's the same as the menu at the Asian massage parlor. This guy's not laughing at all. He's like, I don't get that joke, honey. That doesn't make any sense to me. I wonder what they're all laughing at. Maybe I'll explain it to me later. Good job, man. So apparently Jeff Bezos wants to have his head only frozen. Yeah, Dr. Evil wants his head frozen. Which means that somebody, at some point, is going to get to cut off Jeff Bezos' head. And I just want to know, like, what level of Amazon Prime membership I have to sign up for, to be eligible, like, are we gonna, maybe we can do a raffle, that would be fun. We like raffles, don't we? You know, third place gets a Honda Civic. Second place, trip to Splash Mountain without the fast pass, let's not get crazy. First place, you get to do the honors, right? I get it, it's morbid. You don't all have to want to cut off Jeff Bezos' head. But you should all want to watch somebody cut off Jeff Bezos' head. Especially somebody who just won a raffle. Because you know it'd be one of those guys who's like, I never win anything! You'd just be way too excited about it. I think that'd be a hard flex for the next billionaire though, you know? Like, how rich are you? Like, well, I own Jeff Bezos' head, so I'm doing pretty well for myself now. Learned a tough lesson recently. You're only as cool as teenagers think you are. I know that's not a popular opinion because there are a lot of middle-aged dudes here tonight who still think they're cool. I think I'm cool. These guys think they're cool. You guys think you're cool. You're not. Not unless a teenager thinks you are, okay? And the word that they use now is savage. You've all heard this? Yeah. So unless you've been called savage by some kid named Keegan, might not be cool anymore. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on in our world right now. But I gotta tell you guys, I saw something on the way here tonight that kind of restored my faith in humanity a little bit. A guy in a BMW stopped at a green light to give a homeless man some change. And that homeless man was like, "Stop blocking traffic, you asshole!" And I was so touched by that. I felt like I had to do something nice for the homeless man. So I gave him some crack. He was very appreciative, by the way, because you can't buy crack with change. Have you guys ever showed up to a drug deal with a bag full of quarters? That guy has. And it's a good way to not get robbed, but it's also a good way to not get drugs. You shouldn't be doing drugs. I don't do drugs anymore. I used to when I was in high school, but I quit because I didn't want to grow up to be a loser. But I made it here anyway. I love how drug dealers always think they're too smart to get caught. That's my favorite thing about them. But one time I met a drug dealer that was too dumb to get caught. I was in high school, this guy wanted to sell me drugs. So on a piece of paper, he wrote down his phone number, his first name, and the word drugs. But he misspelled drugs. It just said John Dirks. Like if the police had found that, they're not even gonna think anything's wrong. They're gonna be like, that's a weird last name. Cliff, you know anyone named Dirks? Did you guys get the new COVID upgrade? Apple just bought COVID, so you have to get the new one every year. It's the same thing too, they didn't make it any better. It comes with different color masks, I think, I'm not sure. I think my favorite part about the whole pandemic is the fact that everyone is now afraid to sneeze around you. Because I hate when people sneeze around me. It has nothing to do with germs, I don't care about that at all. I just don't feel like I'm qualified to bless you. And people always look at me expecting like this really great blessing. Because I look like Puerto Rican Jesus. That's a fictional character, by the way. I don't know if you guys follow hurricane season here, but I'm pretty sure Jesus doesn't live in Puerto Rico. I want you to know that my Puerto Rican friend told me I could tell that joke. Okay, and that's how it works, right? If you have one ethnic friend who says it's okay, you can say anything you want and no one else is allowed to be offended. Yeah, so for my next joke, I'm gonna need a black friend, an Asian friend, and an Indian friend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna tell that joke. There's a real statistic from the pandemic. Ever since people started dying from the coronavirus, the population of Florida has increased. That means we live in hell. I told that joke the other day, some lady's like, wait a minute, how do you know it's not heaven? I was like, because it's freaking hot. Been trying to find a roommate lately. My ad is written in English. Half the responses I've gotten have been in Spanish. I don't understand why you would do that. That doesn't make sense to me. You know, like when I match with a nice Latino girl on Tinder, I don't respond to her in English. I Google Translate that shit. I send her a nice message in Spanish. Netflix chill? I can tell a few of you don't speak Spanish. So loosely translated, that just means I don't get laid a lot. It's tough though for a guy out here, for a single guy, because women fill out their dating profiles like they're writing a list to Santa Claus. You guys want? It is true. You guys want to hear every woman's dating profile? Are you ready for it? Here we go. I have every woman's dating profile right here. Wanted, tall, handsome, athletic, emotionally mature, successful, with great sense of humor, and must love kids. You just described Tom Brady. That's the only guy. Do you want to hear Tom Brady's dating profile? Wanted, millionaire supermodel, who's younger than the last one. That's it. If Tom Brady went on a date with these girls, people would think he lost a bet. Alright? If Tom Brady went on a date with these girls, people would think they have cancer and it's their Make-A-Wish. Women are delusional, that's what I'm getting at. I keep getting ads for this new dating app though. Just found out about it. It's popping up on my phone a lot. And it's this new app where you only can match with one person at a time. Now I really like that idea. It's supposed to be more, you know, like mindful dating, more of a deep connection. So I signed up with all 4 of my email accounts. Appreciate the enthusiasm and encouragement. It's nice. Tried dating a witch one time. Before I go any further with this, do we have any witches here tonight? Where are my witches at? Anyone? I see a hand in the back. Also, not pointing at witches, not a great idea. But I dated this girl who told me she practiced witchcraft. And I was like, all right, there's probably some benefits to this. And there were. I think probably the coolest thing about dating a witch is that all of her ex-boyfriends had disappeared. Yeah, we started getting into the relationship though, like a couple months in, I'm like, how do I know you're a real witch, you know? You have a cat on a leash, that doesn't make you a witch. She didn't even have a broom, she had a Swiffer. She was a real witch though. She was a Florida witch, and that meant she was 35, but looked really hot for 60. Her name was Tammy, short for Tamantha, and she had 3 kids with 4 guys. And that's a little funny. That's witch math for you, though. It's tough, man. Being a guy dating is difficult. I think probably the worst thing about it is when you take your lady to a restaurant and the waitress's outfits at that restaurant are like way sluttier than your dates. You guys been in this situation? It sucks. You looked at her like, you know what I'm talking about. You've been in there, right? Because as a guy, we can only keep it together for one hot girl walking by. That's it. That's all we've got. Like, stay focused, eye on the prize, don't blow this. But when there are 25 scantily clad women walking around everywhere, coming up to your table, asking you if you want something from them, they're setting you up for failure. I think I'm just going to stop taking all my dates to strip clubs. That was one fun thing about the pandemic, was combining strippers with other businesses. This was great, yeah, because they had to shut down for obvious reasons. So these wonderful women had to find new and exciting ways to expose themselves. We had stripper food delivery service. That one was called Meals on Heels. Yeah. There was one where you could get your oil changed by strippers. That one was called Jiffy Boob. And then, of course, there was the classic, the stripper cleaning lady service, where naked women would come in and clean your house for you. That one was called Getting a Divorce. Just started watching Cobra Kai. You guys seen this? Cobra Kai? It's the follow-up to the Karate Kid movies, but 30 years later. It's awesome. Highly recommend it. And then, I feel like between that and Stranger Things, Netflix has just figured out what my generation is nostalgic for. Yeah, 80s music and child abuse. That's what we're into. A little bit of a spoiler, they beat the shit out of the kids in both those shows. Highly recommend. You guys are gonna like it. I just turned, thank you. She's like, yeah, I beat the shit out of kids. I just turned 42. That's the correct response. Nothing at all. Yeah, you guys are like, that's a stupid age to be. People usually think I'm younger than I am though, and I get it, because I am incredibly immature and unsuccessful for my age. Thank you for laughing at that one. It's true though. Let me tell you something, when you are this unsuccessful at 42, I only get two choices when it comes to dating. I can date older women, or I can date younger women. Now younger women, they look at me and they think that I still have potential. But older women look at me the same way that a hillbilly looks at a dead raccoon. They're just like, I can take that home. Consensual is a funny word. It's hard to come up with an adverb that goes well with consensual, you know? Like, how was the sex? But like, oh, it was extremely consensual. You guys like football? Football fans in the house? Football. I love football season. I like it so much I broke up with my girlfriend for football season. Here's why though. She told me, this guy respects my decision. She told me that she wanted to get married and buy a house. I was like, listen, I can only keep track of one fantasy team at a time. It's not even true that I have like 3 fantasy teams, yeah. I like sports betting too. You guys bet on betting on sports a little bit? Yeah, a couple of you? There's 2 kinds of sports betting. There's online betting and betting with a bookie. Any preferences? Bookie, I hear bookie. I'm a bookie guy. I like betting with bookies. That's the way to do it, right? You guys know bookies are like these real people who look just like that guy. Are you a bookie, sir? I meant to ask you earlier. Are you a bookie? No? He says no. That's exactly what a bookie would say, by the way, for the record. Yeah. I like betting with a bookie. It's more fun. Because if you win, they have to give you their money. It feels better. It's like sex without a condom. And I am really good at it. Not sex without a condom, not good at that at all. But when it comes to sports betting, I'm pretty good. A couple years ago, I bet on the LA Rams to win the Super Bowl before the season started. Yeah, the payout's really good on that. So the game came around, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna double down. I put an extra $300 on the game itself. I ended up winning like $1,000. My bookie was pissed. And then 2 weeks later, he died of a heart attack. And I won another $400 on that. I told you guys, I am good at sports betting. Like the Rocky movies? You guys fans of Rocky? You know Rocky was never favored to win in any of his movies? Yeah, he was always the underdog. Which made sense for Rocky 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But by the time we get to Rocky 5, I feel like at least one of the odds makers in Vegas should have been like, you know, I think you might win this time. They named the movie after him again. It is a big problem though. Some people have a problem with gambling. The International Gambling Commission just released statistics. They expect that gambling-related suicides will increase this year by either 15 or 20%. I put $100 on 20%, you know? I feel good about that too, I do. I feel good about this. You guys are fun. I feel like I can tell you about my dad. He's dead. Oh no, I don't want you to feel bad for me. That just means I'm better off than most comedians. Because I know where he is. Yeah, he's in a box in my hallway closet. I haven't scattered his ashes yet, okay, that's why. But I have a good reason for it. Before he passed away, he told me one thing that he always really wanted was to go to Hawaii, but he never got to. So he said, when I pass away, I want you to take my ashes to Hawaii and scatter them in the ocean. And I was like, that sounds cool, I'm gonna do that. But I was thinking about it recently, and when I was a kid, I really wanted some Air Jordans. And he got me Air McGregor's from Kmart. So I'm gonna take his ashes to Orlando and dump them in a water park. He would be okay with that, Joe. How do you guys feel about guns? Are we gun fans here? Yeah! I figured here at Cocoa Beach, I assume most of you have guns on you right now. I like guns, they're fun to play with. But you know, we do have a problem with guns in our country, let's be honest. They're getting too expensive. But that's only true if you care what color you get. You guys know you can buy anything online and you get a discount if you don't care what color it is. Last week I got an AK-47, it was 50% off. You wanna know what color it was? Close. I got a rainbow AK-47. It looks like it shoots Skittles. You guys, my gun looks like it voted for more gun control. Anything more embarrassing than owning a gun that looks like that? Getting shot with it. The big debate, though, right now in our government about gun laws is the red flag laws. Are we familiar with the red flag laws? These are supposed to determine who can own guns and who can't own guns. They're going back and forth a lot about it. Here's the thing. I think if we're going to have red flag laws to decide who can own guns, I think we should also have red flag laws to determine who can own pets, certain kinds of pets. Because I don't think someone who's into autoerotic asphyxiation should be allowed to own a boa constrictor. I like that joke because it lets me know who's into some shit. You guys are messed up. And if you didn't get that joke, later on I can explain to you what a boa constrictor is. Alright, you guys, for one